we might clip from it. But by all means, just reach out by email if you're like, if you feel like sharing today and you don't want it to be ever shared publicly, just let us know and we'll make sure that doesn't happen. Um, so yeah, we're just integrating back from South Africa. Had a really powerful, timeless experience. Rachel spent a lot more time there than I did. She extended her stay and invited me to come, and it's really life-changing for us in a lot of ways. So we just felt like it was time to reconnect with all of you. Um, some more people coming in. Yeah, and just we're totally open today. Like anybody wants to ask anything or feels called to share anything profound in their life or challenging, it's all open to questions or comments at any point. Just raise your Zoom hand or your physical hand. Um, Usually we let Rachel drop us into meditation style journey. So
don't. So welcome. It's nice to see you. And mm, yeah, typically one of my favorite things to do to receive and to give is a somatic guided meditation. So bringing us into our body and getting into more communication with the different signaling that's happening. So as we gather here together as a group, um, it's really amazing to also connect deeply in to ourselves, and then from that place connect out to the external world and the ones around us. So yeah, if that feels good for all of you, I invite you to nest in, find your sweet spot wherever you're sitting. You're welcome to lay down and go about this however you'd like. So my words are guidance, but if your body's not feeling like doing anything that I'm asking or sharing in this space, please listen to yourself. You're the best guide. And, sleeping happens perfect. If checking out, whatever is arising for you, I welcome that and invite you to welcome that in your body as well. Okay. Yeah, so when you feel ready, you can start to take note of where you're sitting or lying. It feels good for you. You can close your eyes. And if it feels good to have open eyes, feel free to do that as well. Beginning to notice whatever is happening for you in your mind, in your body. Just noticing the outskirts right now. Maybe the busyness of the mind, or the settling into this Zoom call, this community. Noticing the dialogue that may be present. And noticing where your breath is in this moment. Not needing to change, to deepen or to soften or to elongate, just noticing right where it's at. Do you feel your breath in your throat, in your chest, in your belly, your limbs? Where is your breath naturally going to in this moment? And maybe it feels good for you to bring your attention to your jaw, right underneath your ears, where it's connecting into the skull, noticing any tension here. And maybe opening the mouth slightly to release the jaw feels good for you. If not, that's okay too. You can play with your jaw a little bit, moving it from side to side. Just gentle, slow movements. And a natural yawn may occur as you're playing with this stretching of the jaw. And bringing your awareness to the support, again, where you're sitting or lying on, tuning into how that feels for you. What does it feel like to receive this support as your body can continue to soften to this support? There's an opportunity, an invitation, and a suggestion here to move into a deeper state of relaxation. Melting and softening all the different parts of your body that are being called to do so. You can begin to lend your breath to this softening. And on the next exhale, allow any sound to exit your body through your mouth, if that feels good for you at this time. And as you're breathing, maybe a little more slowly, maybe a little more deeply, there's also an invitation to notice in the body what is not wanting to relax. So typically, there's a part of our body that deeply wants to just let go. And a lot of times that happens naturally when there's an invitation. And alongside that invitation and that natural letting go, there's also sometimes a gripping or a holding or tension in the body. So we can come to witness this tension and welcome it in as much as we welcome the relaxation, so that our bodies really know that we're listening and we're allowing for all of life to be present, to be felt, to be seen, to be heard. Some parts of our nervous system don't don't want parts of life, and that's okay. That can be good information and an opportunity to let go of pushing or a need to change that experience. We can soften to the uncomfortable, to the tension, and become our best witness in life, of life, our own experience, and work together with our bodies. Again, returning to the breath. Noticing this continuous flow of inhale and exhale. And if you're feeling a call to make sound on your exhale, feel free to allow it to be as big and as small or quiet as you're feeling. It can be as strange or animal-like, or maybe nothing you've ever heard of come out of your mouth. It's playing with sounds, maybe noticing noticing how it lends us this vibration that ripples out. So if sound is coming out, maybe noticing if that's true for you. This vibration, this frequency. Uh, 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 uh. Hmm. And feeling into what maybe you are opening to, maybe from the top of your head, opening to the sun's rays. Just recalling a moment in time when you've connected with the sun, or if you've received codes or downloads or messages, remembering the feeling of the sun and your own unique connection. Hmm. And if it feels good for you, opening to that experience or whatever you're experiencing now, and allowing it to pour in from the top of your head down through your body, continuing to melt and drop and be with this sensation. Maybe tuning into your roots now and noticing the support of the Earth Mother that's coming through, the support that you're sitting on or laying on, the support that is always there. Deep, deep connection, nourishing. Begin to tune into your unique connection with the Earth Mother, maybe from the past experience in nature, maybe digging your hands in the garden, or maybe she's speaking to you in a whole new way in this moment, reconnecting. Breathing into her, feeling your heartbeat, feeling her heartbeat, feeling any synchronicity here, inner synergy. Hmm. Notice as you drop and breathe and melt, and as your heartbeat becomes one with the Earth Mother, notice how she meets you in this, her energy coming up to meet your energy dropping down. And this could feel or look like roots connecting down out of you like a tree. Could look like the mushroom mycelium network. Could look like your body dropping down into a seed pod, being held deeply down into the earth. Just noticing what it is for you right now and how that feels in your body. Noticing in your power center, in your belly. What does it feel like here in the soft belly? Or the invitation for the muscles in the belly is to soften. And bringing breath to the belly, expanding the belly gently on the inhale. No need to stretch past the edges of comfort here. Hmm. And then allowing this energy from the earth to come up through your being, feeling the nourishment that is being gifted in these moments. Entering into this gratitude for the sun and the earth, for the vessel that's a conduit, for the making love of these energies in your body between the feminine and the masculine, the sun and the earth. Honoring the sacred temple that we each are, that we've been gifted with in this life to travel this earth and have this unique journey that is absolutely ours. And as we continue to take a few breaths at our own pace, maybe notice if our breath has deepened, if it's spreading out through our bodies, or if we haven't made sound, maybe sound is coming now. Ah. And tuning in to any last messages that you may be getting from your body, from your energetic field. And really going as slow as you'd like or as needed. Come back to your body that's in this meeting. So you can slowly wiggle your fingers or twist your wrists, twirling ankles, moving toes, rolling shoulders up and down, whatever part of your body would like to slowly move or stretch. Oh. So definitely some creation was playing with us today. And a raven, yeah, they're starting to really make themselves known, but very present in this meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. Such a pleasure to drop in with you all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is um yeah, just want to say for me, this is the best way for me to meditate for myself. So I tuning into the field, the intuitive field, everyone is joining. However, you are dropping in, and whatever your experience was, it's right. Just like as we gather and share our voices, we gather and share our collective energetic field and the sensations that are moving through our body, just like it's like tapping messages to me to speak words of it. And so every meditation is different, and because it has to do with all of you and where I'm at, where where we're all at. So I just wanted to make note of that, to really thank you and honor you and in your presence here. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel, for dropping us in. It's really always strong for me to your voice and the different ways you approach this type of work. Um, yeah, so we just are experiencing timelessness in a lot of ways, having traveled and considering, whether this is a dream or a vision or what are we doing here? How do we perceive our reality, and learning how to be resilient within this uh, way of being. So our dreams are really different and changed. South Africa had a real significant effect on us for whatever reason. Uh, as other places do. For me, Alaska has a real significant effect on me, and just dreaming into or feeling into different lands, different areas of the earth. It's such a powerful way to get to know that this is a realm of power. You can have a relationship with the mother Like it's really personal, different parts of the world, because you're maybe because your future self is informing you of things that are to come. So we're just really wanted to share, like we went through a really powerful time with the storm during the eclipse. And it was a home that was designed to be on the front facing, you know, uh,
Indeed.
the Indian Ocean, but it was just designed to not, to be there. And it was such a powerful storm that water was entering from, all throughout the home, and it was just really coming at us. The winds were really strong, and we happened to be going through a real healing process with the woman that's helping us with our dynamics. And so it's just a really strong time for us. And it just goes to show that taking a risk or going on an adventure or going to neutral territory, because neither of us really have spent a lot of time there. And it gave us a chance to reset our relationship in a really magical way. Um, we've been doing a lot of work for many years, but there are moments where all that work pays off, where you cross a threshold and there's like really strong signs and breakthroughs. And that can be within a relationship with your own masculine and feminine. It can be with your parents, with your children, these thresholds, these healings that happen based on coming out of projecting, when you come out of projecting onto other people, and which usually happens in the most closest sisters, brothers, the blueprint of the history, right? Someone you know a lot or known a long time, you're more likely to have more projections, or you perceive them the way you knew them in the past. And like in human design, they say not to sleep next to somebody because you're changing every night. And if that person isn't changing, then their perception of you keeps you from changing. Like that's how powerful projections are. So how we can maybe come out of any projections or judgments around how things are supposed to be, like for us to able to accept our reality as it is to not to no longer be at odds with it. But a lot of times we spend our lives wishing things were different rather than acquiescing to what is the messaging that the Earth Mother is providing us based on what's happening. Um, so just a lot of energy got freed up. We wanted to share like just how thankful we are for all of you that are interested in these types of conversations. And we're both anchoring some really cool circles and courses and teachings right now. And I'm going on some bigger podcasts, so the doors are opening for me to be working with more and more people. And I just really thank you to all of you for, being interested. And I just want to express my gratitude in public for this opportunity to come out of construction and start to do this work, which is more heart-based to me. Like I'm really good at construction, but anybody can do, somebody can replace me, but nobody can replace the specific thing that I'm offering here. It's different, right? And so is what Rachel offers. And that's what interests me about authentic people willing to discover their own unique gift. Not that I don't still struggle with getting caught up in other people's perception of me or people that I inspire me. I tend to model and borrow from their understanding until I free myself from that too. So we go through stages, and that's part of it, especially in like martial arts. If you really want to learn from your teacher, you have to almost like really pay attention to everything they're doing, because they're going to teach you things they can't explain in the way that they move, in the way spirit moves them. And that's why I do movements in my courses as a means to tap into that we all move differently. We all receive different feelings moving through our bodies, but when we're all in sync, moving together, often waves of feelings will come over the whole group. and that we'll all get to feel and tap into the same field, which is, why we're here today too, is just to see what comes up in the collective field. I don't ever plan on what I'm going to say, obviously. Um, so that's to the benefit of to open it up, right? So you guys are always welcome to raise your hand if you feel called to ask anything throughout this whole time. Um, yeah, we're just super thankful, curious as to what's going on for other people. These are incredible days to be coming out of hypnosis more and more. And I think a lot of us are coming out of the rabbit holes, which got very consuming. We're starting to be more in the in our hearts and our, in that way. So it's a really cool time for so many. Janie, welcome. Thanks for raising your hand.
Hey Joel, hey Rachel. Hello
Hi.
from
Hi,
South
Jenny.
Africa. I thought since
Hi.
we were talking about South Africa, I'd quickly just say hi
Yeah.
and how glad I am that it sounded like a very positive experience. So that's great. And I wanted to just also comment that we're having a storm at the moment. So I don't know what it is about you guys and storms.
Yeah, you had a lot of that, huh? Mm.
Yes. Yes. I don't know if I should comment now or if there was more you wanted to share.
Yeah, no, I wanted to quickly jump in and say that I may have comments later and stuff. Actually, I'm very keen to hear about the next course coming up soon. But I thought I'd just quickly just say a quick hi from South Africa. And if there are any more comments about storms, I'd like to know. Maybe it's a stormy time.
Beautiful. It's
Oh,
good to see you, Jenny.
yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Janie hosted us when she found out we were coming to South Africa. Her and I were going to have a one-on-one coming up. And I said, well, would you like to maybe do it in person? And she's like, what? You're going to be here? So she hosted us in her Airbnb, and we got to hang out in one of the most beautiful places in the world, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm limited, I guess, in my travels, but blew me away what Nature's Valley is. And
Mhm.
so thank you so much, Shani. It was such a key part of our adventuring, and so glad we got to hike together and all that happened. So
Oh, it's such a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you guys.
It was beautiful. And a magical connection there was that I was just in South Africa and it wasn't like seemingly possible, but I asked Joel, I was like where we were at in this pivotal place in our relationship to integrate something. And it was kind of like a joke. Well, I think you should come to Africa. And things just magically ended up aligning so that we could. And um, and then he said, I have this client in South Africa. Well, it like we didn't know. We ended up being like a half hour away from Jamie, or I was staying there in Plattenberg. So it was so amazing just to be able to travel down the way and open up to that amazing valley, which is quite like actually this portal. So that Janning was saying. And it was very, very intense. But yeah, the storms. I yeah, that's been going on for quite a few years for me. I don't know if anyone else has this, but I moved away from the ocean for a while, like was in the desert, and I would cry often just because I was such a water person. And I began to call on really hellacious storms that would flood. And so I didn't really understand what was going on. But as soon as I landed in South Africa, well, I think it was the third night, but it was the first night I got to the retreat land in the Utaniqua Mountains, which is off the garden, like north of the garden route. Um, there were, yes, just our retreat ended up being like horse therapy. It was equine therapy, something I had called in, but I had no idea I was going to this other retreat about yeah, what was it called? Just the depths of the feminine awakening. And uh this horse greeted me. So the horses were on the land, wild, all over throughout the mountains, but they were domesticated, but they just were able to run, like walk free. So they were within our tents that we were in under the trees. They were in the what I called the womb lagoon. It was this natural, it was a pool, but it was from the natural flow of the mountains there. So we got to swim naked and be naked with the horses, and as a women's group. But the first night, a massive storm happened, thunder and lightning, and these horses, luckily we had lived on a ranch, like caretaking a ranch, and these people had horses. So I knew, what is possible during a thunder and lightning storm with horses. And so these horses, just for an hour straight, full throttle, just running up and down. It felt like just a few feet from my tent. I was questioning if they saw us, if they were going to run into us, but it was a very powerful storm and a powerful welcoming to that land, all of it, and lots of magical stories there. But the storms continued to play out. When I went back to Hout Bay, the lightning was there, and the woman that was running the Airbnb, she was like, "Oh no, that's the light tower. We don't get lightning here." And I was like, I think it is because it's moving. So it was just another, really, for me, South Africa just kept speaking. I mean, of course, the connection with the elements, but the major message that I've actually integrated in the last few days was that um, I need to walk the earth. Like my feet want to walk the earth. That to connect in this way is. It's like emotional. It's like honoring her and honoring like what is happening. We get very caught up in our stories and our life and what we need to survive and these things, but to really, this is something that I did and Joel and I did in the Rocky Mountains here in our 20s, and Joel was younger. We walked the mountains and we did a lot of walking, 20 miles through towns, through just was on foot. And that experience changed our lives. And going back to South Africa, I was reminded of my 20-year-old self and what I took in then and am now attuning to again. And I don't know how that will occur, but that's a new passion of mine that got ignited on that land. Just this real clear sense of, hmm, mm, yeah, just a piece of my being opening to the sun. Nothing, we can attach other things, and that's beautiful too, like God or the divine, or there's different words we can call it, but for me, when it became simplified, I finally was able to really melt into and know and remember when it was just like, oh, the sun and the earth and the reflection of all of creation, which I believe is doing, whether it's animal, plant, tree, what we're seeing, why we feel so good in nature is this reflection of beauty. But I feel like it is because the sun is coming through the vessel of the tree and the earth is nourishing, so there's this nourishment that's happening. And that's what's happening to us, like whether we know it or not, whether we feel it or not, that's happening all the time. And in nature, there's no mind stuff and egos, you know, we've been gifted these egos and these minds, you know, this challenge of the shadow to evolve um, a little differently than plant and animal. And so I feel like nature is just this great reminder. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the connection with the Earth Mother, that and the way in which it happens to each person is so unique, and it's so beautiful to and rich. Everybody has a totally different story, and yet there's themes, abstract cores is what we call them, that tend to be like almost like codes or signs, symbols. It's all incredibly inspiring to hear other people's way in which they make these connections and heal themselves, whether it's through the recapitulation or through traveling or dancing or singing. But when you find your purpose and become and remember your child, your creativity and imagination starts to come back as activated on some level. You know, it's just such a miracle, really. And life is a miracle. And everyone that is in this world is a reflection of um, ourselves. Really, it's an opportunity to see how people see you and how you feel about how that, you know, how does your relationship with reflection exist? Shamans seek to shatter the mirror of self-reflection, where they moved into the state of the observer, and they become aware of their potential, and they're holding space for others to experience that the same without expectation or projection. And that's so much more harmony than looking around at the world saying, oh, I can't believe how unconscious these people are, or oh, I just, you know, all this complaining. And there's a way to see through all that and see that everyone's story is rich. Everyone is gone through trauma. They are a character in our dream, and they're reflecting us directly, especially if you're triggered or attracted. It's significant, right? So let people be messengers, go out in the world. I wasn't, probably shouldn't have done this, but I drove into the townships on my way to the airport in the end, and I was like stuck inside these crazy systems that aren't, you know, I can't believe that towns even function this way. But the cars all just stop, and the markets open at certain times. It was like a Friday, and I'm the only white dude in this whole, like, for miles, right? There's just people walking barefoot in these tin townships, right? Everything's just made out of scraps, and it's an incredible system. The stores are, you know, the restaurants are just inside of these huts, and it's an entire system that goes on for miles and miles. And it was so healing just to be in something like that, to just realize that people can thrive in environments that are kind of barely held together, and you could just feel the community connection in it. You know, I knew probably I wasn't welcome had I got out of the car. I don't know how it functions, but it was, you know, I was able to cloak myself. I was able to be in that situation without it becoming anything challenging. And I don't know, maybe it's my own ignorance that it could be or not. I had people tell you not to do this, or um but it was cool because I had to let it go. The cars stopped. There was no way to drive around on the sidewalks there. There's just I just got stuck, and I got to experience that incredible, yeah, just um, letting go, of not having to worry and trusting my power and knowing I was going to be totally fine. And I got to be saturated in this feeling, and I've been dreaming about it ever since. It's like I have access now because I hung out in this really cool, different culture. It affected me significantly, and it healed a part of my being just by, yeah, knowing that that exists, you can see it in movies or whatnot, but to really be inside of that intensity was significant boost in my dreaming. So inspired me to travel, inspired me to, you know, finally sort of follow my instincts to go to South America. It feels like Mexico and South America are the next stage because of the Toltec lineage and all that I'm being called to to tap into in order to understand. Um, or understand on a deeper level. So I've spent a lot of time in Mexico, but I did so under the tutelage of other people. And now I'm going down there, you know, without being under somebody's umbrella. So really excited for the next stages and look forward to, yeah, we're both going to be teaching more courses in person and online. And I'm going to be working with some people um, pretty soon to share some cool combined efforts. And Rachel and I plan on beginning to share some coursework where the two of us, you know, offer something unique as well. So, Kathy asked a question about next course. You're going to be touching on anything like tobacco offering and the proper way to do that, or also uses of any other plants like sage and sweetgrass. I'm willing. I would love to. Please remind me, and I'm happy to. As we did a that was a big part of our training for sure. Is pipe ceremony, tobacco offering. Tobacco plays a huge part in the one of the stories of creation for the teacher, for the elder that we the sorcerer that we studied under. So that would be a great thing to add to it for sure, since it's called Earth Time. It makes a lot of sense to bring that in. Um, and then as far as smudging, and there's definitely stories to tap into around that and different perspectives on energy clearing and fear and protection and all the different ways in which we learned that and then unlearned that, because it's a dance with, yeah, warding and protecting is a powerful way to learn intent, and using things, tools, or can be a powerful way to understand how that works. So I look forward to sharing on that. Yeah. Did you want to add?
Oh, I'm just curious, from all of you, if your experience, like what your experiences are as far as kind of the times we're in, uh, cultural appropriation around smudging, utilizing certain traditions. Um, you know, we were trained with in a Native American, maybe some of you know through knowing Joel, but the Native American shamanic ways of sweat lodge and pipe carrying. And yeah, it changed over the years as far as the opinions around what we should or shouldn't be doing or carrying through. We don't and have not trained anyone else or have provided any, you know, sweat lodge or anything like that. We actually moved quite far away from that to get to know, you know, our own connection and way in this world of our own spirituality. So it kind of turned into different things along the way, learning deeper into the Toltecs and yeah, different things along the way just to find our own path. And that's really where we're sharing from and facilitating from, is a conglomerate of our experiences. And I recently was in Sweat Lodge, and it had been a long time with a Native American elder from Canada, and got to face some of my triggers from the past and some massive misuse of power with Native American shamanic elders. And great healing happened. And I felt really called to be in Sweat Lodge more because it's such a powerful and beautiful ceremony. And to be in community, sweating is just, there's nothing like it. So I was also reminded, and we've touched into that, is that something that we would want to offer? And is that something that's okay to offer? I have Cherokee blood. I don't know what percentage, and I don't care, because I remembered, and I remember different parts of my lineages. So I I go with what I feel in my being is the most important, but not everybody comes from that opinion. So I'm just throwing it out there, kind of being brave in speaking about this, because it can be touchy, and I'm open and welcome, yeah, all opinions around that.
Mm.
It looks like Anna and Dragon have their hand up.
Yeah, Lee and Anna, welcome.
Hello. Can you hear me
See.
good?
Yeah.
Good to see
Really?
you. And I'm so glad to be here. I'm here mostly to present Anna's view on things because she carries the she carries the womb, so she carries most of the power. So I'm here to support and introduce. But you were talking about sweat lodge. This ties into our connection with water and our own water, and also salt, which I now see as like one of the #1 MK Ultra weapon, and how sweating allows us to get rid of it. So go ahead, talk about the water.
No, I spoke about this the last time. It's crazy because the last community call that I was on, I was in Georgetown and sort of was dealing with like a pretty traumatic experience that I had there. And we call it plasma, I call it the drinkable hologram. This is what we were born into. This plasma was in the womb when we were being created. So that's the environment we grew in, that we were sprouted in, I guess you could say. So it's this really supportive, if you don't have a way to connect, as you were saying, like putting your feet on the ground and connecting into the environment, you can do that with your own waters, with your own body in your 37th floor apartment in downtown Dubai, like, so there's ways of connecting. I've sort of lost my thread now, but
The water of life.
yeah, it's just been such a huge support system for me. And when you're talking about community, this I realize now how important it is for me to be in an environment where that can be accepted. We've both traveled so much since this last meetup. Georgetown, I went back to Laos. We did a big move. Lee came early to Chiapas. We're in Jovel now.
In Toltec
Mexico.
territory.
Yeah, which
If
is
you ever
just,
come this way, Chiapas, Oaxaca, we want to meet.
it's just been wild. And I did a detour to see my family in Canada and got to meet my granddaughter and had a huge detox, I don't even call it detox expression. I think like when you have so much stress building up to a moment in your life, and then you arrive to this time where you don't know if you're going to be accepted, and you have this fear of rejection, and then it ends up being supportive for you. There, I actually my body was able to relax into a different, just like the release that happened there of being accepted by my family again, because it had been 7 years since I'd seen everybody. I got sick, but it didn't feel like that. It was just like my body was finally able to fall into like the arms of my family. And then all of this stuff came out of my body that had been trapped inside. And I think we get fooled so much by this, as you say, MK Ultra, into thinking that this is disease. Well, it is, it's dis-ease, but we get fooled in, oh, it's contagious. And there was a lot for me, even though that happened, there was still a lot for me to deal with, because there's a new baby and everybody there still subscribes to the contagion thing. So there was like a time where I wasn't allowed to be, or not allowed to be, but you know, I gave space for that, for them to feel that, and I removed myself from the home. But it was really tough still at the same time to just manage all that emotion. And then coming to Mexico here and meeting back up with Lee. So it's just been a lot.
Even in recent days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we can feel the year of the dragon upon us. Things are moving fast.
So much to process. And yeah, when you take your waters back, it's like a signal to your body of what's going on. You're not putting something foreign into your body. You're putting something back into your body that it knows. And it's like a self checkup. So it really helps you to just stability and have some ground when you feel like there isn't any under you.
It's basically recapitulation in the organic layer, because recapitulation happens naturally to everyone, even if they don't do it consciously. And so also our bladder recycles our water naturally. So we all are recycling our water. But when we do it with intent, it becomes a really powerful reflection of our recapitulation work.
Yeah. It's just, I'm really passionate about introducing it to people, because it also is like accelerated my lucid dreaming. Like I actually had to smoke some cannabis to just like ease back off, because it was too intense. And we did a plasma fast and then went on only fruit now for the like 10
days.
10 days.
So we're developing the breatharian abilities, which we all have. Basically, we don't really need calories. We need prana.
Yeah, it really shows you the power of that. And yeah, it's just been intense. And I so appreciate the two of you. We actually started watching Joel's videos from number one.
Yesterday we started playing them all back.
We're like, we need a review.
Joel has changed so much. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful to be a part of this community, and just thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Beautiful share.
Yeah, incredible. Appreciate your perspective and what you've learned, and inspired when somebody's on a path of heart and feel really called, inspired. You know, it's there are powerful ways in this world, simple ways that most people overlook, like the simplicity of silence, right? It's Don Juan had to teach Carlos all this shamanic stuff just to eventually help him reveal that all it means is just being silent. But he was so in his mind that he had to work with him for many, many years in an intense way to reveal the simplicity of what Don Juan had discovered himself. So, wow. Thank you guys. Marag, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for your path and bringing that to, just gonna let listen to the
Hi guys.
here.
Hey, Marag.
Hey, and
Sorry,
yeah, I would love to speak more about the year of the dragon. Yes, so we'll circle back to that, because we've all talked about a lot, and I'd love to hear more shares. Hello.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Fantastic to be here. Yeah, feeling the love as always, and yeah, I really think this has just been remarkable that I joined late, Dreaming Your Purpose, and it's just a blessing that I did, because I think that's the pull just over that part of the winter. I think it was one of the toughest winters that I've experienced, as I told you before, with my mum who I'm actually back on board with now again, which is just a miracle. Yeah, just the support this group's given me is just like, I'm not sure that I would have been manifesting or where I'm up to right now if I hadn't been here. So, yeah, and thanks for the one-to-ones, Joel, because that also gave me I mean, I've just been on a healing practitioner course to do, it's called Spinal Flow, the natural wave in the spine. I don't know if anybody knows about this, but it's just mind-blowing. I haven't looked, I've had a mental block because my family were, oh, how much money, my kids were, how much money have you spent on this? And I have fatigue and I can't even do the day-to-day functions. They're like, what are you doing? And they know that I go on these big benders sometimes where I go just to get that feeling of being alive. I can go off on mad ones. So yeah, I hadn't looked at it. So I do manage to get there after doing the studying online, and day 2 I was still in oh my God, am I really here? It was in a corporate type of hotel right on the beach, and that is such a disconnect for me. It's there was 90 other Europeans. It's the first time it's been in Europe, but that disconnect, just to try and get over that, the security were making us feel like we were the riffraff, even sitting on the sunbeds, telling me to get up because it's just started to rain. I said, well, you're only allowed to lie when it's sunny. It's just like that sort of rebel in me just can't help it. It was just so hilarious. I can't even tell you I've met people, friends for life. I know, that we're just resonating on the same vibe. Awake girls, we were just meant to meet. There was 90 other people, but we seemed to we didn't one of the exercises was, I think it was about 10 minutes looking at each other's eyes in pairs, very intense, but it was just beautiful. So we're going to hers in France in June, so the 4 of us that really gelled together. It's just like all happened. I'm nearly going to be qualified once I've got my 10 forms back in, feedback forms. Since I've been back, I've one of my dancing friends, she's got an injury since she was 22, she's now 72. And she said it's remarkable that the healing that the less tension, you can really feel a difference in her spine, and it's still good. So my mum's back on board with me. It's just like suddenly all these things like are manifesting. It's quite hard to sort of get my head around. And I'm also going on Campbell and Kelly's and Tara's trip to Bosnian pyramids in 3 days' time. So I'm like, yeah. It's like 2 lives. I mean, when I come back, before I went, I've just had so many bugs, or whatever, whether it's a germ theory or whatever it is. And then since I've been back from Barcelona again, it's almost like 2 weeks in bed. It's like these I'm almost like living 2 people's lives. It's very hard to get my head round. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm believing that I can go back out there and do it again. So that's me. But thank you so much. I don't think I would be where and having that ability to be to think that I can actually be a practitioner. I don't think I would have ever had the confidence. I couldn't get out of my own head, as I think I've told you before. Yes, I won't go into that again. But thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Beautiful share.
Thank you,
Thank
Marag.
you.
Yeah.
That is just, yes, really inspiring. That really, to me, brought forward so much around this piece of, us sharing, we're doing these things. I just want to say, and in relationship to the Year of the Dragon, which you're verbalizing, you're dropping in as well, we're really getting moved. Like I really feel like there's a lot of astrological input that we're receiving and have over the years. Like we can follow it and be like, yeah, it's another intense month or intense full moon or intense eclipse. But there's something really unique, I feel like, about this year of the dragon, and I'm sure you're experiencing that, most of you as well. And I really, today, one of the things I wanted to say was, I'm not here to promote like what I do myself. I'm here to promote support. And you are now promoting that as well. Like this, my journey completely changed when I realized I can have radical, abundant support. And I had nothing, no finances, ability. I was flat in bed for years, operating from, a body that wasn't functional on so many levels. And what changed so much, I don't need to go into the details about that, but just that aspect, that thread, I feel like is really important this year. So if it's not us, like if someone's feeling the need for support, or if you're questioning, well, I have the support already, and you're questioning if more is too much, I say go for it. And not us, like everything. If you're called to us, sure, yes, but whatever you're called to, listen to your heart, listen to that piece that can say yes. More support actually during this time when the dragon is burning things off for us. I really feel like now's the time. Okay, that was my piece, and thank you for sharing your.
Thank you. I did actually forget to say the amount of release on that week was just. I never thought by day 2. I thought, I'm here to help to do healing, but I need so much, release myself. But it was just incredible, screaming in that room, and just when this wave happens, it's like childbirth. It's like a contraction that comes, and your arms are like electric going out like this, and this. It's just, yeah. So yeah, I just forgot to say about the real healing that happened, yeah, the week, like you had as well in South Africa. Yeah. I never thought I was going to get that in Barcelona. So it's amazing. Thank you so much.
It's just reciprocal and continues to be that way, right? Like the more support we give here, the more we're able to serve. And we have so much support, like not necessarily in volume of energy, whether it's guides or our mentor or in different ways, even our children, like our wise teachers to us. It just being able to recognize how powerful support is, the earth, the urine, whatever way we're called to access that support, then that fuels where we can serve from. Because when you go to serve and become that healer, it's like, I'd never say the word healer about myself. This is like facilitating an energy from an experience that I've had that may be helpful for another. And I remember being in tears, people saying, "You're a wounded healer. Someday you're going to do this." And I was like, no, like this is the only way I could step into something is to know that it wasn't about the archetype. We're not stepping into archetypes here. Like we're moving like from that into something that's just a clear connection of serving, where we're not involved in the expectation or even the help. We're creating an offering that may be used and may be of use, but it's not our job to serve in a way that makes change, to put pressure on anyone to do or be anything else than they are, or the
That's
pieces.
beautiful. I'm going to have to upgrade my terminology because I'm new to this.
Oh,
yeah, on the healing stuff.
That was just that was my piece. Yeah. You get to design your own. Feels good for you. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Excited for you. Mm. All right.
All right. Kasri, hi, welcome. Glad you feel called.
Hi. Yeah, I was visiting my my daughter and grandson and step granddaughter, and we went to the beach, and then it was like, okay, I got to take you home, drop you off. I got to get on this call. I'm not going to miss this one. And so I'm just driving around, and I'm going to go back and have dinner with them.
Okay.
And so it's like this perfect, beautiful day. And the reason why I raised my hand, because, you know, Rachel, I've never met you, and I've known your husband for 3 years now. And it just felt like all of a sudden I'm driving and I'm listening, and I'm driving like, you know, I live on an island, Prince Edward Island. There's this beautiful water, trees everywhere. There's this beautiful scenery. I'm just driving and listening. And all of a sudden I said, I got to stop and I have to say hi to Rachel. And just like inadvertently, you've been a part of my life. You don't even know it. Like Joel has helped me so much. And he talks about you. He talks about your relationship. Like, I know about you. And I just know you're this beautiful woman that I haven't met yet, and that you don't know me. Or maybe he has, I don't know if you discuss clients with each other, but if he does, it's fine. No, okay. Well, you can. And maybe one day I'll sit with you and have a session with you. Yeah, I met Joel maybe the first time he popped on a Zoom 3 years ago, and then I was one of his first one-on-one clients, and I encouraged him. I couldn't get enough of his wisdom. The wisdom that Joel shares is so profound. And I do have a spiritual teacher on the non-dual path, and she's extraordinary. And so she's my teacher, and Joel's my guide. He's my one-on-one person and has helped me so much. And yeah, and I couldn't get enough of his wisdom, like his wisdom and my teachers. And I just said, I encouraged him to start sharing on YouTube so we could all benefit. So apparently I'm one of the sparks that ignited the channel. And so then I thought, wow, well, Rachel's got so much wisdom too. So maybe here's a spark for you to start your own channel. And because it's the same wisdom, but it's from a different viewpoint, and it's from a different energy, and it's a different yeah, it's just so beautiful how you share, Rachel. And if that is part of your journey, I'm sure that will happen if that's meant to be. And I know that I would benefit from you sharing more publicly, and yeah, if that's something you ever thought of. But I'll stop talking now and just let you just say hi to me.
Oh, Pastor, wow. Thank you for coming on and just saying hi. Very beautiful. Touched my heart. And I do know of you. I don't know content, so I don't know your story. Joel and I always ask for consent if we're sharing clients. Yeah. So I don't know your story, but I do know of your energy. So it was beautiful to get to actually see you and hear from you and connect in this way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, likewise. So yeah, and hi, Joel. Yeah. I just had a beautiful session. I just went through something really intense with family. I have a narcissistic brother, and I've been walking on eggshells, just trying to keep the peace for the sake of my parents. And I've been a really good, patient person for 2 years. He lives next door to my parents, and just a week ago today, he said one thing in that tone of voice at me, and I lost it. I just lost it, but it was great. And then because I had a session with Joel 3 days later, and I was able to process so much of it and release so much of it, and all the trauma that I had no idea, like Joel validated, like it was abuse, like it was a subtle abuse I experienced my whole life with him. But I wasn't even aware that it was abuse because it was so subtle, and he's a narcissist, and it's just, yeah. So it was so healing, and it was so healing to have that reflection. So that's what I will see Joel for, is just to hold that space for me, and to process and yeah, to get through this matrix, and heal, and just become more grounded and more to not react to these things, and to find that place. So I'll keep coming back and keep, it's been a long journey for me. I've been on a healing journey for probably 30 years since I had what I called a nervous breakdown, and it was a breakthrough to start my healing journey. So it's been wonderful. And yeah, it's just wonderful to have Joel on this path. So anyway, I'm just rambling now, and there's other people sitting here listening. I feel like I'm just talking to the two of you. I know there's others here, but it's just great to be here. I'm very grateful to you both. Thank you.
Thank you, Kazri. Amazing. Yeah.
Love it.
So appreciate you're part of this community and being in the beginning of it and inspiring me to share more. And just the way that we met was that we call that, signs and omens, right? You were having a moment of where your teacher, who you were working with, your life coach, revealed his true side, and then I showed up, and these things happen at moments that are perfectly designed, that we were
Yeah.
conscious to meet.
Yeah,
So
yeah, like literally, yeah. That very morning, the moment, the day I met Joel in the after, it was a Monday afternoon. It was on Miraculous Mondays with Marie Russell. So anyway, Monday afternoon, Zoom call with people searching for truth, what's really happening in this world, and we were going against the grain. So we were a community, and yeah, that very morning, I fired the life coach I was working with. He just completely changed. He went from this wonderful, he went from the lion to the lamb to the wolf. He just completely flipped. And talking about narcissism, I discovered he was a complete narcissist and started being abusive that very morning. And that afternoon, there was Joel. And I went, oh my gosh. So Joel helped me traverse that narcissist. And now here I am working with another one. So yeah, it was definitely meant to be. It was we're meant to be on this journey for now. So all right, that's all for now, and lovely to see all the people here. I'm enjoying all the interactions, and thank you so much. Bye for now.
Thanks, Cassie. I just want to add a little piece before our next share. That yes, your signs, here we are. This is how it works, right? Part of me going to South Africa was very much getting a piece from Mama Africa to like maybe officially launch my business. I've been in, for 5 years, been referral based and stayed maybe in the shadows because everything about branding and marketing is just directly from the patriarch. It was just like, I don't know how to squeeze what I'm offering into that system. And I just keep seeing it over and over again as women, the type of offering and the spiritual offerings, and being like, okay, I need to do this, and it really not joining or integrating in the way that I would like to. And so South Africa was a part of that. And I am currently launching a website as well as Joel, but went to Africa and got a photo shoot, mostly with not my clothes on, but I won't be publicly launching in that way, just to let you know, that's not my thing. But it was a part of to know my body, and also a part of my offering. I'm having, I did a 7-month that's turning into a 9-month course that you might have known about, and some of you here know. So that's ending in July, and we're having a retreat in June here in Montana, our group of women, about 10 of us. So it's all been privately, offered. It wasn't ever publicly offered. It's not an event, and the launching of the website will go out to more. And the reason that, other than people like you, and thank you for kind of validating this, what is happening in my realm, was due to wanting to not just like because it's not about me. So it's like, how do I launch myself? It's like, it's about the people. They'll come. And I was really trusting in that people will energetically feel me and find me. And I kind of woke up and was like, okay, when I was in bed and struggling, I wasn't like fully highly linked up with my intuition. And that's what my offering is based in. And so to really come to the recognition that um I need to not have everyone who may need my support and being called to it to do all the work to get to me. I need to do some work to be out there and available. So that's the in the essence of my offering, it is that. Yeah. That's what it's
Yes, beautiful. That's so I feel, yeah, I feel that because there's so many. I think Joel and I have talked about this a little bit. Yeah, there's so many women out there who are doing this marketing, this whole goddessy sort of, healer type thing. And there's so much about it that, like, just as I'm thinking of some of it, it just feels ick. It doesn't feel authentic. And so how do you bring that off? Like, you would only be authentic. That's who you are. So you're only going to be authentic. So how do you, because if you go to these women who do this marketing, who show you how to do it, it's not going to be authentic. So it has to come from this really true, authentic place. And it will, and you will, and the people will find you, and I will follow you. So wherever you're going to be, make sure, Joel, you let us know, whether it's, creating these beautiful posts on Instagram or wherever it's going to be. Because it's, there's people who are waiting for you. I am.
Thank you, Casper.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, love to hear from you, Rob. Thanks for raising your hand, brother. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm good, guys. So yeah, I actually had a long trip that I did. I'd like to share. I drove to Canada to see this doctor up in New Brunswick, and because I have issues flying, I had to, drive solo, and it was basically 22 hours each way. And it's kind of like just something I just trusted that I'd be able to do, even though I don't know how, just because of my condition, and so I did it. And it was 6 days of stressful driving there and back, and just intense. Like it basically rained for the first 3 days. And yeah, just the fact that I was able to do that, and yeah, just in the middle of nowhere, and just trusting that like nothing was going to go wrong. Just like I felt like I had the intent that I was going to see this doctor and it was just going to work out. And then like I just went as long as I could each day, and I'd book an Airbnb. So like nothing was fixed, right? It was just the fact that I was just able to just do this and just let it flow, and then still have like experiences in like whatever small town I ended up in, because I've been just so shelled in. Like I've been, it's like it's hard to talk about because I watched their last video on Jason Brashears on the Mirror of the Divine, and like talking about like illness, because I want to get past it, but I'm just gonna let it flow. Yeah, I've just been so contained, and now it just feels like I can get anywhere within a couple days, and I can experience new things. And it just, things are just coming together, where like one of the Airbnbs was like in the middle of nowhere in New Brunswick, in the middle of the woods. And it was like on the second floor, like above the barn, and it had a deck. And so I would do the movements on the deck, and there'd be like low hanging fog. And it was just like, I'm just having these amazing experiences by myself, that it's like, since my divorce, and it's like been lonely road, but now I'm like starting to reconnect more and gather my energy. And it's just like things are shifting in a major way. And I saw the doctor, and then made the trip back, like the day next. And I'm like finding myself. And the way back, I went a different route through Maine. On the way up, I went through Michigan and through Toronto, and then to Quebec, and then I did a loop through Maine, and then through the New York mountains. And I'm like driving at night, and the trucks are going nuts. But I even though I was weak, like I just felt myself getting stronger. And and it's like I got through it. I don't know how. And usually I would crash for like weeks after something like that. And then within a couple of days, I'm hiking, and it's just amazing. And it's not just the fasting that I'm doing; it's like the work that you've done. I mean, it's just I'm really connecting to it. So I just wanted to share that it's yeah, just it was just big for me to like complete that trip. So that's all I wanted to share. Thanks, Joel.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so cool, Rob. Your transformation is significant, brother. I'm so glad that you've found this work. It changed my life, and I'm glad it's changing others. You know, it's an honor to be the person that you're learning it from, and look forward to working with you. And just yeah, we're limitless, powerful creatures, and the power is at our fingertips. And even when we think things are up against that there's too much energy up against us to change the current of the direction in which our energy is flowing, uh, amazing healing is available, and we don't need others to heal us. We can do the work and reclaim our power and our energy through the recapitulation, through the magical passes, or through whether it might be Tibetan dreaming. Who knows what different system you might find out there that can lead you back to your essence and help you to rebuild your relationship with intent, which is spirit, which is the guidance, right? So congratulations, man. Traveling is amazing. And when you learn to go in the flow and you trust spirit, all these doors open and you become a traveler, a warrior traveler of this dream. And that leads to being lucid in your dreaming and being able to then make use of that energy as a means to travel in other layers of the onion, which is even, a next level. But we start to build our relationship with joy and connection so that we can trust ourselves in dream time, because we become fearless in our in the feeling of abundance that is moving through us. So just we're all in the beginning stages of cultivating something incredible. So thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add quick too. Like I told you how it was really hard for me to want to recapitulate. Like I just didn't want to do it. But like since the trip, I've started to be able to do it consistently. And it's just I don't know why it feels right to do it now, because before it was too much or it was too painful. I don't know. But it's yeah, like the trip, it sparked something. So yeah, thank you guys.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for your share. Really can resonate with you. Adding another little piece of South Africa in here. 10 years ago, I wasn't able to get on an airplane. I wasn't able to get in a car. The vibration would drop my blood pressure and I'd start to pass out. So I wasn't able to really move. I called it my zombie state. I was not able to like walk or talk normally. I've been, on a healing journey pretty much since I was born, but that was the most significant shamanic death, soul, ego death, all the lost souls accumulating so that I could really see what was needed as far as self-care and love, and what that even was, what that meant, and the rest, and the permission to rest as much as and permission to get that much support. And going to South Africa was almost like a 3-day journey with 2 12-hour flights with a 10-hour layover and another hour to Seattle. Like it was a volume, and I went alone, and it was a test of it sounds so similar in this way, like, okay, I'm just gonna, normally I crash for X amount of days. Like these are my exact words as well. Like I know what can be on, but I was like, something else might happen too. And so I actually have a few things, a relief band for flying, which like sends frequency into a pressure point, one of the meridians. And that helped a lot with jet lag, but also a practice of, yeah, well, Joel and I are, it just happened, we'll develop it, but just want to throw it out there for travel, to follow a meridian, a golden thread. I had zero jet lag. Not only was I not like sick, you know, in that chronic illness that I don't say anymore, that completely disappeared. And then other like people that don't have health issues normally get jet lag, got jet lag. I had zero. I was following like this thread of light from a point in Montana where I was departing from and then arriving to this place that my mentor actually held in South Africa. And it was just, I don't know what it was. It wasn't meant to necessarily take away jet lag, I don't think specifically, but it does. I just want to offer that into the community in case that's helpful for you or for anyone else. But magic does exist around the health issues. It is energy, and it's beautiful to hear your stories. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Real quick, I want to get to a few chats that got missed. A question that came in. Do you have an outline of topics you'll be covering in your course? So for my course, Earth Time, we're going to be working with the elements. It's going every week, a few days before each class, you'll receive an email giving you some heads up as to what we're going to be tapping into to give you a little prep and maybe a little suggestion of homework to do to prepare. But yeah, it's going to be, we're obviously, for those that haven't done this work, there's a theme for sure of a lot of shamanic movement, guided recapitulation, guided meditation. It's an intuitive process, so different things will come forward. We'll be discussing Castaneda concepts and Toltec ideas as a means to tap into what modern ways in which we could, utilize this knowledge. So I don't have like a curriculum that I can send you that's scripted. It's from a magical place. It's not linear. It's very non-linear space that you tap into when you drop into these calls. And so I encourage you to, yeah, just feel whether your body wants in on it and follow that thread rather than in the mind try to decide whether it's something that's going to help you or not. I guarantee if you let it saturate you, the energy is significant. You're tapping into the lineage of the Toltec just by being part of the movements, and there's a powerful supportive energy that comes from ancient Mexico that moves and guides the course, right? So it's not me that's determining what we do. It's part of the lineage that I've become connected to, but I'm also using that lineage in a modern way, and not I'm not planning on remaining in this. It's something that I'm using as a platform, and I believe will guide myself and others to really find something that's evolutionary, that's more of our time. I think we're in a really powerful new opportunity to integrate these magical concepts, but with from a creative place that is based on the conditions that we find ourselves in today. So I encourage anybody to, write to me if you want to have a consult about if you're on the fence. I think that's the best way is to meet one-on-one, and consults are free. So you just tap in that way and then we can see if it's a good fit for you and go from there. But really, really strong. You don't have to be physically, you don't have to do the movements when we do. You could observe them. There's all kinds of ways to experience these courses. And even people who are just watching the recordings, a lot of people are watching them over and over because it feels non-linear. It feels like it's happening while you're watching it because of the energy that is associated. But yeah, it's a good time to get in on it, and it's really beginning of something powerful. Hope that you guys feel comfortable asking more questions by email or on this call. And yeah, so that's about that.
Yeah, and it looks like Kathy, going back to the next, I wonder about these things using to experience a sweat lodge or be part of a drumming circle. From Kathy, if we have different timelines, parallel lives all happening at the same time, then wouldn't we also simultaneously? Also, if the Castaneda lineage was letting power intention choose the next Nawal as well as choosing the people for the next generation of sorcerers, then shouldn't we explore any and all tools from all cultures that could help us, as long as we are being impeccable in our intentions? Yes, integrity. Feeling that way too, Kathy. Thank you for speaking that. And then Sloan says the indigenous wisdom of European descended people is alive in the blood as well.
Yeah.
Sauna usage in community is still a modern practice in the northern regions I came from, and utilizing the available plant medicines of that region where we used prior to the Christian takeover. So for me, the proclamations of cultural appropriation are disregarding the inherent consciousness downloads that happen all over the world for people and communities that are willing to throw off the yoke of modern society and get back in touch with the natural world and ways. Do what you feel called to do and share. Thank you so much. Beautifully said. Yes, I see firework. I don't know about those firework. I would be doing that. Yes, that resonates in my heart. Thank you for speaking that. Beautiful.
All right. Well, let's see. We'll go to Lee and Anna and then Brian, and we'll go back to the chat after that.
Thank you for your comments there in the chat.
Yeah. All right. Lee and Anna. Did your hand raised?
Yeah. Yes. If Brian wants to go first, I'm fine because we already spoke. But I had something to say about what Rachel said about public manifestation, being in the public eye. So
Sure.
yeah.
We have time. Go ahead.
Okay. So it kind of relates to a fork in the road that happened with me, and to a degree to her, because if this is something I do, then it affects her. I started not YouTube, but some other, video platform. Just to give some background, I was the geek who was bullied at school. So I developed like this need to prove something, I guess, and I'm dealing with that. So I have to sort of pull back. Maybe almost the opposite situation that Rachel finds herself in. It's like I want to do it too much. So it's given me a really cool perspective on the dark and the light of this, what we call patriarchal or masculine aspect of life, which is, you could say, pride or honor or something like that, like how to present oneself well, how to keep our hair clean and all that. And is there anything healthy to it? And right now I would say totally yes. And I even just read a part of the Fire from Within, where Juan Matus talks of self-importance. And it's a very rare quote because most of the time he talks about eradicating self-importance. Whereas in this quote, he talks about the healthy core part of self-importance as opposed to the rotten part. So even in the quote unquote scriptures, if we want to use Castaneda now, it talks about some healthy core of the ego, which in a healthy life needs to develop itself. So basically, this is a big aspect of what I'm doing, which is why I want to start. Well, I already started what you guys are doing, but I want to do it publicly. So when people come on, it's live. So it's for people who maybe want to take that approach to healing where they want to put themselves on the spot. And that's what I did. Basically, I put myself on the spot for 2 years, and then I erased a bunch of videos. It's very interesting to discover the parts of ourselves that are actually healthy in the sunlight, and yet are not really just about proving anything. It's just about shining our light. Like we were given a task. I was given a task. I was given all of these beautiful epiphanies. And at first, I got a bunch of bans from getting too excited and trying to share all of this stuff and look at what I found and look at what I know. So now I'm trying to just find the healthy approach to it. So maybe even if Rachel or anybody feels like they want to explore that side and how they want to be more public, then it's called the Golden Phoenix, but Legal Dragon and a Seahawk, we kind of, she's doing it from a more feminine side and I'm helping her and she's helping me to pull back. So, and by the way, I'm still verifying this now because we just started, but we had 2 years of Shivambu practice. And from what I can see so far in the research and the people that I've found and a little bit of seeing that I'm able to do to make sure that what they're saying is coming from their heart, so they aren't lying, is that we prepare ourselves for healing at first with the breathing or whatever, the screaming, the therapies. And then when we're ready, when we recycle all of our water of Shiva and we stop introducing anything dead into the body, then the healing just goes like berserk. And it's actually too much to handle, which is why we're kind of getting ourselves ready for that. But we're just, I can feel it when I started 2 years ago, when I took my first cup, that my life was completely different, like in an instant. And it would never be the same. And then in like 3 months, I would be a different person. I'm at that point now, like 10 days into it, where I kind of stopped eating for 3 days and everything started coming out of me. And then we went back to eating fruit and anything that's alive, basically. And it's difficult to handle the energy levels. So if people are ready to that kind of stuff and they want to talk about it and they want to ask questions to somebody who's on that path, then I'm also, happy to talk to them. For now, it's just open and we don't ask anything. We just want to create a group to discuss these things. So hope this helps. And thank you for sharing again.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing what you're offering. And this is a community and a time where we're all welcome to share what we do if you're called to network here. This community is definitely up for and into networking. So thank you for coming forward with that, what you offer and what you've been up to. I love it. I love, and something Anna said in her share about going back to her family and that, maybe their medical experience is different verbiage and how they feel about germs and all of that, that you said, and I just made room for that. You, can you, uh, when and then with what you're saying, the around the shadow aspect of the ego and the self and how it gets involved, like we have this passion and desire and then we go to act and we're all in it and pretty soon we're like, well, I'm and how did my ego get to be like this? And it's in those moments where we can welcome it in rather than a need to change it, right? And I'm getting a sense that that's what you've been doing. It's like, well, I'm going to back away and make room for that to be, because that's such valuable information and input, and usually has to do with what you were saying in the very beginning, which is our childhood wounding. And so our child gets in on it, and then starts to maneuver and control from these places to feel safe. Now that we've exposed ourselves, then that would be, or even the child that never got to experience being in the limelight or shining the light, And so we're gonna go through, I'm starting to see the shadow and the light very much as one. And like absolutely, like there would not be light without shadow. And because we say, you know, there wouldn't be shadow without light, there wouldn't be light without shadow. It's this thing that's starting to really integrate within me. The more the dark comes out, or I see it out here, you usually can domino effect where it began. Even in another person, you get this sense that this rage, or even the, you know, the head of the dragon of the patriarch, like follow it back down. It's a wound. This is just a, a nasty expression of some sort of original wound. That if we as shadow workers can begin to do that for ourselves, we can do it collectively, not with boundaries and with our yes and no's intact, but an acceptance that this like this is a repercussion of forces that have been playing out on the planet forever. Or I don't know, I don't, you know, I don't know if we'll ever get to a place where there won't be shadow and light and the dance that they do and play out inside of us and outside of us. But I'm curious to see. Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up. And I also want to say I'm in currently, you know, in the marketing aspect, bringing that back up with what Kazari was saying, you know, that's an offering that's being worked inside of me as I do launch mine. I'm going to be launching like a how to drop into the depth of the feminine and launch an offering from that place, as well as whether you're a man or a woman, just because the depths of the feminine have been in hibernation for so long and cast out. And I mean, we can call it however it is, and it's rising within us all, and very much you know, women lead in this, or one could say that we can help the collective as women to come to this within our own being, within our own sexuality, within yeah, the name of my course is Sexual Awakening for the Heart. So it's about really understanding that sexual energy is dreaming energy, is fire, is passion, is desire. And when used with when come into more conscious connection with our sexuality, we realize it's an energy that we are rather than an act that we do or give. Especially as a woman in the late, you know, few hundred years, it's been our sexual energy is when it rises, it's something to give or to orgasm or to, you know, that we're supposed to do something with it because it's this overwhelming energy. And a lot of it can be dormant or frozen or overactive depending on our wounds or our experiences in life. So this, what I do in my course is very much getting in contact with that energy, which can be for a woman and for a man. It's feminine energy, yeah, is rising. So what to do about it, if anything but rest and allow it to flow within your being. Yeah. Anyway, I went off a little bit on that because I get excited. Sorry, Brian. Thanks for your patience.
Hey, no worries. Yeah, it's good to hear about your trip in Africa and just all that you guys got to experience and to see. Makes me want to get traveling more as well. And yeah, I think just kind of following back on the idea of like, yeah, performing, like having a sweat lodges or other ceremonies. I think that's a great idea. And yeah, I'd be interested. I'm sure a lot of other people would be too, but yeah, just good to hear from you guys. That sounds good. I don't have much else.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian.
Mhm.
Neighbor, it's good to have someone in Montana to connect on these calls. I'm glad we found each other through the internet web. Yeah, but I mean, we love sweat lodges and purification in all of its forms. There's so many different ways to do that. We're big sauna advocates and use that version of means for purification often. And it's been a lifeline for me when I went through what I thought was like an energy sickness from coming out of cults. My body was really going through intense experiences of not sure really, to be honest, what exactly was happening. But I discovered that the saunas were a place I could be, and that it would give me an opportunity, yeah, to take care of myself in an energetic way as well as a physical one. So yeah, the purification, the sweat lodge ceremony is such a magical way to heal. And in the future, I think, I was trained to pour lodge in the group that I was training with, and I have no problem with sharing that. And I think in the future that'll be something we can look at doing, as well as other things that are come from those traditions like vision questing. But I think it would be a more modern way, a more even, yeah, just it's in the future. So I think it'll be presented as to how to work with those energies and systems. And but I encourage people to go out and have experiences, even if it's not always 100% aligned. Like where, there's sweat lodges that you can tap into. So there might be people who are offering something, and you may be called to go, even though you guys don't agree politically, or you don't see, so use this world to your advantage without being offended or expecting or needing everybody to have, in my opinion, nobody's going to have, everybody has holes in their consciousness. And so you want to follow your heart and your gut rather than your mind as to where to go and have experience. You'd be surprised what differences. There's a ways to, even in this conflicted world, to still go and have really powerful experiences. Um, so
Yeah, and on that note, um, just recently hearing one of the reasons why I felt called to maybe offer something like that, not just to participate in the ceremony, but because of hearing how much people loved Sweat Lodge and how many like amazingly horrible Sweat Lodge experiences people were having, that I don't really like the word safe and dangerous, because we're alive and then we die. Like we're all, no one's getting out alive. But how can we care for our energetic field while we're doing this earth walk? And so I highly recommend that you vet your shamans, and that I may not even be needing to say this to all of you, but yeah, to get to know who, even if it's a trusting friend that you trust, if that's, and then you feel it in your body that it's a yes, go with that. But yeah, just a lot of people, natives, non-natives, running ceremonies, plant medicine, where people get extremely injured or end up in mental hospitals, where they're opening up the dark womb for themselves to process their own stuff through other people, and everybody end up on the ground sick when they get out, not be able to move. So
yep.
Getting to hear these stories over and over, it's like that integrity piece that Sloan was talking about. Just getting a sense of that for whoever you're working with in whatever way, whatever your support is, whatever tools, people, always tuning in to that, to your gut instinct there
Mm.
while you're exploring.
Yeah, and I think having a practice that's your own, that doesn't require others, is a means to really get to take care of yourself in the most dynamic way. And that's why I gravitate toward the movements, the magical passes, and different shamanic systems, as well as the recapitulation, the soul retrieval process. And you can vision quest yourself when you're strong. You don't need somebody to anchor you. You can put yourself in situations to go and tap into creation directly. So it's just about where you're at and what you're feeling, what stage you're at, what kind of support you need. I consider I have daily vision quests. I wake up in the morning and go out on the land and I greet the sun, and I have really powerful experiences with sun gazing every day, and it's changed my life. It's become my closest friend. Well, the earth and the sun, and so it's we don't need to resource outside of ourselves, but you may be called or guided to go have experiences, and you just want to learn to get that discernment piece dialed in, discretion and discernment about who and what to say to people and how to respond to their power. Especially in Mexico, there's very, very, very powerful people, but they're not usually in the heart. It's a lot of like sorcery stuff, old school, where apprentices are like kind of used. So yeah, any in-person events with you guys this year, Rachel and Rachel. So we're doing separate ones. Rachel will be doing one this June, and I'll be doing one in September. Um, awesome. Yeah, we will be. Thank you, Leanna. Good to see you. I'm glad you came, and have a great day. Yeah, so but yes, Jasmine, in the future, Rachel and I are open to having workshops together as well as our separate ones in person, and we look forward to to what that might look like and when. Um, and when she has hers and I have mine, there might be a little overlap of support that's going on, depending on the timing. But we'll let you know by email and social media and stuff. And yeah, so thanks for asking about that. Looks like a couple people fell off and coming back in. Um, yeah, so the potential is incredible, and we're what Rachel and I have been through. We have such a different lens in which we see it, and so that creates an opportunity for us to offer different sides of of perspective around like what we experienced, and then how to share. She's gone and trained with different people, and I've gone and trained with different people, but because we work so closely together, when we do eventually decide to offer these courses, it will be a combination of what we've discovered, and we're working on figuring out how those two things can communicate with each other. And so we're in the observation process of it, and look forward to what we're going to see, and then be guided to share, and hope that you all can be a part of it when we do launch that side of our sharing. And we're totally open to your feedback, right? Like if you something you're really curious about that we've talked about that you would like to have be a part of these shares, workshops, if there's specific things within Taisha's book or something that really is of interest to you, it's okay to pull from other references and see where that might how that might look as we go to share these things. So and we both plan on writing, I think, in the future, and that's part of recapitulating your past is writing it down, what happened, and then getting through the recapitulation enough that not only are you sharing what happened, but you're allowing what happened to become, an almost a non-linear magical tale of power, because everybody goes through rich intensity through trauma. Ours being particular in the shamanic realm, it's a fascinating story. It's hard to put on paper though. That's why I just do videos. It's very, it's just so much easier to talk. So, but it's a discipline that I'd like to learn how to get out of my way and then be a conduit through that means as well. And I think when Rachel and I share pretty intimately some of the deeper intense shit that's happened to us, a lot of people are like, you have to write this. And other people, as Rachel's recently experienced, is you should not write that. That's fucking too intense.
Some people
No.
would have, like on my journey to South Africa, the person that was asking all the questions would be like, one person would say, oh my gosh, you have to write a book, and then, multiple women would come up and say, I completely healed something by you sharing, X, Y, and Z. And then this other woman was like, don't ever share that. Like, it's way too dark, like just what I experienced. So I'm very much into welcoming the dark as a teacher, not as something that rules and runs amok in our lives. Sometimes it does, and we learn from that too. But yeah, I don't know. This is all just still kind of new for us as far as like how to be of service in the best way that works for the community and works for ourselves, our relationship. And yeah, we're just exploring. The peace in South Africa helped us to get clear, because we didn't want to just, because we do this and it kind of works together, just like blah, here it is, offer something and have a lot be going on here. That's, I mean, we all have pieces that probably will work with forever in our lives, but there was just kind of a hill that we needed to go over to anchor, so that when we offer what we offer as a together thing, it's more streamlined and more smooth.
Yeah, and a big part of why I slowed everything down with what I was offering in my channel, I could have made it grow quicker if I wanted, but I've sensed into the field that it needed to go super slow for our whole everything to be in place, right? Because I've changed so much since I was started, and I started up, and now with Music and Sky coming up and more events where I needed some time to be ready for that kind of energy that comes with sharing these things in larger groups in person. But that's another means to connect if people feel called. I've met some really incredible people that are part of that community, and not everybody is on the same page with some of it's yeah. Oh, Athena, yay. So glad to be there, sweetie. Yeah, it's gonna be my first time there, and Mike Winter and Barlando are some of the most incredible people I've ever talked to, and so thankful that they're anchoring it, because it gets a little, the truther community is a little like there's energies that are tricky, but these guys are just like solid, salt of the earth, magical people. So I'm so thankful. So let's, those of you that can show up and hold that perspective, that heart-based perspective around what we're doing, so we don't get caught in the mind and in the fear and all the aspects of information that can overwhelm people. And there's been a lot of healing happening. People have coming to me. I've had to quit following other people online because it overwhelmed me. It's too much information. And so they're getting a lot of benefit from getting back into their body, feeling their feelings, and getting, that's why the movements I think are so helpful in my course. Is it's like we get to process things without having to think about them. And I know Rachel offers in her system a way of doing that as well, and through her own means and methods. And that I think is just a real cool time to be those of us that are gravitating toward this way of being.
Yeah, I say, yeah, just stillness and movement, and the movement and stillness, and the stillness and movement. It's like a lot of resting And the type of movement I do is a collaboration, because I just kept getting in trouble at the Toltec. I would be doing my intuitive movement and it was like, no. And that's just something I've always done since I was little, danced. But this is coming from a different place of stillness and intuiting. So what I offer, um, in the gatherings of women and the retreat is very much, beginning the movement with a structured movement that I've designed that has come to me, but then allowing others to find their movement and what they're connecting with in that moment, in this time. Like Joel had mentioned, like the Toltec, these movements are ancient and it's beautiful. We can learn from that, but what's coming in through you. And that's the baseline of, like, I think all of Joel's and my offering is, our offering is to help you find and remember more of you and what's coming through you at this time. And so we welcome our clients now, we welcome feedback and like learning about your stories with what we're offering. You try it out, but then you got this. And, I know Sarah's been a pivotal teacher for me and being my client, because how things move through her is different than how it moves through me. So I'm never overriding, or I seek to not override. That's how I work anyone else's nervous system or intuition. It's a co-creative intuitive field that we're all experiencing. So just because we're the ones holding the space or offering, doesn't mean that it's not equally collaborating with this beautiful divine moment.
Mm.
And I will be offering that once I launch my website. I will put the offering in the field, not a full course, but a drop-in class for men and women to touch into something that's similar to sky dancing, which is a tantric practice. But again, I've altered a lot of what I've done, what I've known, and what I'm getting now. So it's not sky dancing, but it's very much working with the sun and the earth and those energies, and the intuitive movement and how slow it is. So it's nothing that you follow, you're tuning in. It's similar to today's somatic guided meditation with movement and stillness. And when I experienced it, it was like you can move at such a slow point that it's almost stops, but it's still moving. It's like you're touching the universe. And maybe some of you have experienced that in your movement practices. But that's my joy right now. So I'm like, that's what I'm going to offer. It's going to be a drop-in, nothing, not a big commitment, just something fun to do together. Pop in when you feel like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're coming to the end of our share today, and really thankful for you guys being here. And I encourage you, if you haven't had a consultation with Rachel, to do so. It's really, strong to connect with her one-on-one. And if you're called to connect with me as well, that about to launch my website, and you'll be able to sign up through that. And there's different courses to purchase. And but reach out and let me know what you're feeling. If you ever feel like, doing anything in whether you want to join my course at a later date, or get into some mentoring and stuff. But we're both here and curious and open to what might unfold, and really appreciate you guys taking the time to connect with us.
And the next, I didn't mention, the next sexual awakening for the heart for women is starting in September. There may be one available opening to come to Montana in June, at the end of June, if that was a calling for you. I think our sacred circle of sisters, I don't know if I've ever said that, would be honored to have you if that's a calling for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can reach out, email Joel if you have any more questions about that. Okay.
Much love, everybody.
Thank you for your
Thank you for your
shares.
chatting, your sharing, your messages. Yeah.
energy.
Oh, We look
collaboration.
forward to the next community meeting, and please invite your friends if you feel that people would benefit from these talks. Much love. Bye-bye.
Yeah.